Hi everyone, welcome to my tutorial. Today we're going to be making this really cute little invitation. It's made out of an envelope and you just pull the top off and inside is the invitation. I'm going to be using the So Swirly roller. As you can see, this invitation has been made with Night of Navy and Very Vanilla, but I'm going to be using Always Artichoke, so you'll be able to see that you can use any colour at all. I'm going to start off with a regular card envelope, which I'm going to seal down and give it a lick and stick it together. And I'm going to need my So Swirly jumbo roller, okay, which just pops into your handle, just like that. And I'm going to use one of the large Stampin' Up! Ink pads. I'm going to ink up my roller. Just make sure that the ink is all the way around the roller. And I'm going to turn my envelope on its side. I'm going to start off the paper and roll straight across. I'm going to keep doing that all the way across the envelope. I'm going to do that on front and back. Flip it over and I'm going to do the other side. And it's just really easy to use the rollers. If you wanted to do a larger area, if you were making wrapping paper, you could buy an ink cartridge which fits just inside the handle. Okay, so that's my envelope decorated. And the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to cut the top off as I did with this one, and the top needs to be about 5.5 centimetres down, so I'm just going to cut that off. Normally I'd use a paper trimmer, but it doesn't matter too much. This is where the Stampin' Up! Grid paper comes in brilliantly. It's really handy. So I'm just going to snip the top off. And this bottom bit should fit quite nicely inside one of these. You can pick these up from most craft stores, and it's just a crimping tool. So what you need to do with the bottom half of your envelope is make sure that you've got the open side to go in like that, so you're going sideways, and you're going to roll it through your crimper. And what this does is it makes the bottom half of your envelope slightly smaller than the top half, so that you can fit the lid over the top. Okay. What you'll be needing next is a piece of matching cardstock, and I've cut this is the long side of an A4 piece of cardstock, and I'm going to cut it to size. So I want to measure and make sure that I'm going to be able to fit this inside the top of my card. So I mark where the centre is, and I'm just going to give it a gentle fold and cut off the excess, because I won't be needing that piece at the moment. So I've put the adhesive along the top of the piece of cardstock, and I'm going to slip it just inside the lid, and then you can see it opens up. The fact that it's got a slit there will be very handy for when you're trying to put your invitation together. Okay, so that's the top. We're going to put a piece of ribbon around it as well. So if you've made a mistake, this is a great time to decide whether or not you're going to cover it up with your ribbon. And I'm just going to wrap my ribbon. I'm doing left over right and right over left, and tucking it through. And gives us a nice knot. Okay, if you want to stick that down, you could add a dot of adhesive just below the underneath the knot. keep it stuck in place. And there's the outside of my invitation. It's the little envelope. Really quick and easy to make. And now we're going to move on to the invitation. So for this, I've got a piece of cardstock which will fit just inside my envelope. Okay, so if you measure the size of your envelope and just cut your cardstock slightly smaller. And I've got a piece of Always Artichoke and a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock. And once again, I'm just going to roll, I'm going to use the So Swirly roller. And I'm going to roll it across the corner of the cardstock. And then I'm going to adhere this to my Always Artichoke piece of cardstock. Obviously, if you wanted to print your invitation, you'd want to do that before you stick it onto the Always Artichoke card. The Very Vanilla and the Whisper White both go through printers very nicely, so if you were doing wedding invitations, it would be perfect. Now I'm going to use the crocodile. I'm going to use the large hole, and I'm going to just eyeball it, but you could measure it if you wanted it exact. I'm going to make a little hole just in the top. Now, because I want to put my ribbon through and I want my eyelet to hold my ribbon in place, I'm going to make the hole just slightly bigger by punching it twice, and then I can slip a piece of Always Artichoke ribbon through the hole, and then using one of the jumbo eyelets, I can just push that through the hole to hold the ribbon in place. And then just close the eyelet with the crocodile. And just trim the ends of my ribbon. And there we have our finished invitation, which will just slide inside the envelope. Oh, my ribbon's just come off, so I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back. Make sure it's going to stay put, because I don't want that falling off when somebody opens it. And then I like to make sure that the tabs, the two pieces of ribbon, are just folded down inside before I put the lid on. Now this is where the slots in the side come in quite handy, because it means when you're closing it, you can squeeze the lid and then just pop the lid onto the bottom. And there's your finished invitation.